My 4-night trip from Port Townsend to 10 Sleeps was most enjoyable. Still in Washington, speeding east on I-90, I passed a sign I had not expected to see: Roslyn. I got off at the next exit and asked my phone for directions. 10 minutes later, I was pulling into Roslyn, Washington, where the popular Northern Exposure TV series was filmed some 25 years ago. Fans will remember the sign shown in the opening of every episode. Roslyn was a main destination when in 2019 my daughter and I did the Northwest. It was lunchtime, so I strolled into the Brick for some barbecue.
Breakfast special, reindeer patties, egg scrambled easy.
Perfect.
Fans will remember this prominent gathering place, also featured in every episode, shown here with Shelley and Chris. After lunch, I had to stop by Dr. Joel Fleshman's clinic, now a novelty shop. It was where I bought my t-shirt on the previous pilgrimage. Of course, before departing, I had to stop by Maurice's radio station, where Chris sat dispensing local news, theology, and philosophy, and a lot more.
That's Dante, folks, writing of his own midlife crisis.
If you have not seen this series lately, I urge another view. I spent the night on the street outside a Best Western hotel. Earlier, when perusing the map, the Missouri Headwaters State Park in Montana caught my eye, and I booked 2 nights. Having lived by the Missouri River several times in Missouri, I thought it was only appropriate to see where the water comes from. I found a lovely campground, many interesting walking trails, and even a moose on one of them. 5 or 6 pelicans had decided to rest there as well. That night I cooked my version of Indian veggie khichdi for supper. It was oh so good. And in the morning there was just the right place for yoga. The Missouri River starts where the Jefferson, Madison, and Gallatin rivers converge. Appropriately, the town is named Three Forks. The sign informed me that the water I was watching flow by would arrive at Rocheport, Missouri, where Sally and I had a favorite river-watching bench in about 2.5 months, having traveled over 2,300 miles. I learned also that having pulled, and pushed those same miles, it was at this point that Lewis and Clark had to abandon the river in favor of horses in order to push further west. I needed to push east, which I did on the 3rd morning of this trip. I was surprised that Google took me on some dirt roads through parts of Montana in order to get me to Cooney State Park, where I had booked a night. Again, a lovely campground. I found Henry a great resting spot overlooking the lake. Here, a whole flock of penguins were bedding down for the night. The moonrise was spectacular from our campsite, as was the sunset, and even the sunrise the next morning. For breakfast, I had coffee, toast, and an apple. While eating, I watched a heron breakfasting nearby. The pelicans were beginning to stir. It was time to complete the journey to my first Nomads project at 10 Sleeps, Wyoming. We will be working at the United Methodist Circle J camp. It is nestled in a lovely valley surrounded by high cliffs. After finding a perfect spot in the shade for Henry, I climbed up to a cross on the ridge. Looking down, I saw the lovely camp with the river running through it. More about all of that next week.